All right, so for number 1, we are working out this problem, and it says, what is the solution, which means what is the answer in lowest terms. What do I need to do first to be able to work this out? Martina? Okay, so we do want to keep, change, flip. We don't want to do that first. Bailey?
We need to change 3 and 5, 6 into an improper fraction.
Yeah, so we're going to make this improper first. So 6 times 3 is? 18 plus 5. So I get 23 over 6 divided by 1/2. Now I can keep, change, flip like Martina said. So I'm going to keep 23 over 6. Change it to multiplication, and then flip that second fraction. Okay, so what do I need to do next, Sheldon?
You can simplify the 2 on the second fraction and 6 on the first fraction.
Yeah, so I have a 2 and a 6 here that I can simplify. What number will go into both of those, Sheldon? 2. 2 goes into 2 1 times. 2 goes into 6
3 times.
3 times. So now on the top I have 23 over 3. Okay, can I leave my answer like that? No? How many times does 3 go into 23? 7. That gives me 21. How many do I still need? 2. So I get 7 and 2/3. Okay. Questions about number 1? Martina?
I kept the 3 and I just did that, and then I got 3 and 10, 6, and then 4 and 4, 6, 4, 2/3.
Okay, but because you didn't change this to an improper fraction, that's why we did not get the correct answer. So I would like to point out, so Martina did her keep, change, flip, and everything correctly, but she didn't change this to improper. So this is a really good example of all of her work sounded correct. She simplified correctly, but because we did not change this in the very first step, it does lead us to the wrong answer. All right. Are there any other questions about number 1? All right. Number 2, I'm multiplying these 2 fractions. What do I need to do first? Vinny?
Multiply 7 times 3.
Yeah, just multiply. So on the top, 7 times 3 gave me?
21.
On the bottom?
10.
100. All right, those are really big numbers. Will it simplify?
No.
No, I don't think these will, and I can always double check. 7 and 10 doesn't, 7 and 10 doesn't, 3 and 10 doesn't, 3 and 10 doesn't. So my answer is just 21 over 100. Okay? Yes, ma'am. We can go back, just pause on number 1. You can go back and fix it later. All right, and we'll check it towards the end once you fix it. All right. For number 3, Smiley poured 1 1/5 cup of water into each glass. He has 10 glasses. How much water did Smiley pour? What am I doing here? What operation am I doing, Leah? We're multiplying because we're pouring this water. We're doing it over and over and over again. So I'm taking that 1 1/5 and I'm multiplying it by 10. In order to multiply that, what do I need to do first, Barrett? Make it improper. Okay, 5 times 1 is?
5.
5 plus the 1 is?
6.
6 over 5 times, what am I going to make the 10?
10 over 1.
10 over 1. Okay, are there any questions on how I change that? Martina?
Well, in 5th grade, when we multiplied this, we didn't have to make it improper.
In the 5th grade, even in the 5th grade, you always have to make them improper. For adding and subtracting, you can leave them a mixed number. But for multiplying and dividing, you're doing the tops together and the bottoms together. Well, 1 isn't in the top or the bottom, so you have to make it improper so that you only have tops and bottoms. Okay, the only way to multiply and divide fractions is by making them improper. What you're probably getting that confused with is adding and subtracting. You don't have to. Okay. So on the top, or can I simplify this? Because we do want to check that first. Finley, can I simplify this? Yeah, what numbers can simplify? The 5 and 10. So 5 goes into 5?
1 time.
1 time. 5 goes into 10?
2 times.
2 times. Okay, can anything else simplify here?
No.
What about 6 and 2?
But you can't do it.
Why can I not simplify 6 and 2? Yeah, they're across from each other on the same level. Are they opposites? No. So on the top, I get 6 times 2 is 12 over,
1.
which is the same as 12. We'll write out that sentence after announcement. Okay, so filling in our sentence, we're going to write out, Smiley poured 12 cups of water. All right. Number 4, it's division. What do I need to do first for number 4? What should I do first on number 4? Ashlyn?
Change the 4 and make it a fraction by putting a 1 and 51.
Perfect. So we're going to put the 1 underneath the 4. Now what can I do to work this one out? Julia?
You simplify 8 and 4.
Not quite yet. Nora?
Change flip.
Before we can simplify, we got to keep change flip. Remember, you can only simplify if it says multiply. So those kind of go together with the rhyme. So I get 5 over 8 times, when I flip that, it becomes 1 over 4. Now that it says multiply, I can try to simplify, but now can I simplify those two? No, because they're on the same level. Is there anything else, though, that will simplify? No. So on the top, I get 5. On the bottom, 32. So my answer is just 5 over 32. Okay. Number 5, Frank wants to bake a cake. A large cake calls for 3/4 cups of sugar. Frank wants an even larger cake, and he wants to double the recipe. How much sugar will he need when he doubles the recipe? So what am I doing here? What operation? Noah? Multiplication. What am I multiplying by? 2. So doubling something is the same as multiplying by 2. So I have 3/4 times 2, and I'm going to go ahead and make that 2 over 1. All right, so you have a couple of options. What do we want to do next? Martina?
If you want to, you could simplify 2 and 4.
We can simplify 2 and 4. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So on the top, I get 3. On the bottom, I get 2. Can I leave it like that?
No.
No. So I'm going to change that. 2 goes into 3.
1 time.
1 time. How many do I still have left over?
1.
1. So I get 1.5. So I could write he needs 1.5, and it's cups of sugar. Okay, are there any questions about number 5? Martina?
I did not simplify the 2 and the 4, but I still got the right answer.
Absolutely. So if you didn't simplify 2 and 4, you would have gotten 6 over 4, and then you were able to simplify it from there and still get 1.5.
That's a
Good
good thing it wasn't too big of a number.
thing it wasn't too big, correct. Liam? The test is multiple choice that we're taking on Tuesday. Yes.
Instead of putting it the way you did, I did 3/4 plus 3/4, and then I got 6/4. Yeah.
Yep. That's also fine. And I heard a couple of people chime in, so I'm glad you brought that up. When we double it, some people, instead of multiplying by 2, some people did 3/4 plus 3/4. That's still going to give us 6 over 4, which we can simplify to 1.5. So good job. That is also an option. All right. Any other questions? All right. Number 6 says, what is the denominator when 3/8 is multiplied by 4/5? So what is it asking us to do? To multiply. So I'm going to write 3/8 times 4/5. All right. Can I simplify?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it says multiply. What will simplify here?
4 and 8.
4 and 8. So 4 goes into 4.
1 time.
1 time. 4 goes into 8.
2 times.
2 times. So on the top I get 3. On the bottom, 10. Now what did it ask me for?
The denominator.
The denominator. So what is my denominator here?
10.
10. Number 7 says, what is the denominator when 3/8 is divided by 4/5? What's the only difference on this problem?
It's division.
Now it's division. So I need to take 3/8 divided by 4/5. What do I need to do first? What do I need to do first here, Joanna? Keep, change, flip. So I'm going to say, okay, 3/8, we're going to keep that. I'm going to change it to
4.
multiplication, and then I'm going to flip it to make it 5/4. All right, is there anything that will simplify this time? No. Remember, once it says multiply, see if you can simplify. Nothing simplifies, so on the top we get
15.
15. On the bottom,
32.
32. So what is my answer going to be on this problem?
32.
32, because it just wants to know the
Denominator.
denominator. Did I still have to work out the entire problem?
Yes.
Yes, and then you can just choose the correct answer from there. Kaya?
So I did 3. Wait, I did 3/8 divided by 4/5, and then I simplified it when we were at division.
Okay, so the problem with that is when it's dividing, I know it's tempting to do that 4 and 8, but you can only simplify, it says multiply. Kaya, does it say multiply yet? No, so you cannot simplify unless it says to multiply. Okay? Because that does lead us to the wrong answer, doesn't it, Kaya? So we got to make sure that we do that. All right. So on number 8, this is a problem, guys. This is even a multiple choice problem. What is your test?
Multiple choice.
Multiple choice. You'll probably see something like this on the test. Okay. All right, Joey wants to divide 3/8 by 4/5. What method should he use? So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to write out, we're doing 3/8 divided by 4/5, correct? Okay. What would I do? Sorry, I just realized I was off the screen. What would I do to work that out? Martina?
We multiplied.
That's not what I asked. Just what would you do to work that out?
Well, you would keep
So I would keep 3/8, change it to multiplication, and then flip it. So you can see here we're ended up multiplying by 5/4. So we want to make sure that we pick something that says that. All right? So here it says divide the reciprocal. Am I actually dividing? No, we changed it to multiplication, so I know it's not A. So I can also say it's not D. All right, B says multiply 3/8 by the reciprocal of 4/5. Is that the one that I flipped? Yes. This one says multiply 4/5 by the reciprocal of 3/8. Am I wanting to flip 3/8? No. So B is definitely the correct choice. Okay. Are there any questions about how we work that out? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
well, just so you know, I think some of us are going to have a question about one of the later problems.
Okay. We'll talk about it when we get there. All right. So now we're talking about solve each equation, choose the best answer. Does it say you have to check it? No, it just says to solve it. Now, if you're taking a test, would it be a good idea to check them? Yes, because you can catch any mistakes you made. But for right now, we're just going to solve. And remember, to solve it, what do you have to do? Do the opposite. So we're going to draw our line. The opposite of adding is? Subtraction. And what number am I subtracting?
18.
18, because it's next to the x. So here, those go away, leaving me with x equals. Make sure you have your equal sign on your test. Some of us lost points. 34 minus 18. Can I do 4 minus 8?
No.
So I'm going to borrow. 3 becomes 2. 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 8 is? 6. And 2 minus 1 is? 1. So I get x equals 16 there. Okay. Number 11, what operation is it right now? Multiplication. The opposite is? Division. So I'm dividing by 50. So those go away, leaving me with? E equals 350 divided by 50? 7. Okay, and remember, you should have worked these out yesterday, so some of these longer, like you might have had to go to the side and work that out, but we did have time to do that yesterday. All right, For number 13, what operation is happening right now? Division, opposite of dividing. Multiplication. Remember, if we divide on the bottom, we're going to multiply on the top, and I'm going to write it on the other side as well. So 12 and 12 go away. Remember, that was what's next to my letter. We always use what is next to our letter. And 7 times 12? 84. Okay, are there any questions on those first, on what? 9 through 13.
Wait,
Okay.
9, 11,
9, oh, I just realized I did not do that in the right order. Sorry. Thank you, guys. So 9, 11, and 13. All right, so let's keep going. Draw our line. What are we doing on number 10?
We're doing
Yeah, so this is multiplication, so we're still going to do the opposite, which is division. What number do we divide by? 2.3, because that's next to x. So mark those out, and we're left with x equals. This we probably can't do in our head. So you probably needed to go to the side and do 2.3 at the door, 20.7 in the house. Remember, you've got to move your decimal over one place. If I move it once in the house, we move it once at the door. How many times will 23 go into 207? Benny? 9 times. 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 2 is 18, plus the 2 is 20. So I get just the whole number of 9. All right, any questions on number 10? Martina?
I moved the decimal, but I just kept it where it was at first, so I just got 0.9.
Okay, so have you fixed that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So make sure, if you do move it, make sure you also move it up on the top. Okay? What's the opposite on number 12? Subtraction. And what am I subtracting? 2/7. So I'm going to write it next to it since it's a fraction. My plus 2/7 and minus 2/7 go away, so I have r equals. Right now, can I do that subtraction? No. The denominators have to match. So I'm going to multiply 7 times and 2 times. So I end up with 10 over 21 minus 6 over 21. All right, so what do I get when I subtract those? 4 over 21. Can I simplify that? No. So I'm going to write that down as my answer. Okay, questions about number 12? Okay, number 14. What operation is it? Multiplication. What's the opposite? What are we dividing by? 4. So I end up with x equals 9. Okay. Most of the ones on your test, guys, are going to be like 9, 11, 13, and 14. You could see something like 10 and 12, especially since it is a multiple choice test. All right. Guys, it's multiple choice. So not only should you be doing that to work it out, but it gives you your answer options. Please make sure you check that answer before you just select it, okay? All right. Right here it says match the correct inequality to the correct statement. Obviously, guys, we're not matching. Guess what these are the directions from? Your test, because the test is multiple choice. So for the test, you'll have to match the inequality. But for here, we're going to actually write the inequality. I guess I should have just marked that out. Write the inequality with the correct statement. Write an inequality. All right, so the way we do that is first thing I'm going to do on number 15 is I'm going to read it and decide which word is telling me if it's bigger or smaller. Which word is going to give me my inequality, Bailey? The word minimum. And what is the subject? What is this sentence talking about? Leah? The students in each math class. So specifically, this sentence is about the math class, right? So I'm going to use M, and M stands for math class. All right? You can use 2 words, but you can only use 1 letter. Okay? So I'm going to start with my letter M. The minimum is 25. So everything else needs to be? C for class will be fine. What symbol do I need to use? Hand, please. Is that just calling out? Ashlyn?
Greater than or equal to?
Greater than or equal to. The minimum means 25 is the smallest. So it can be equal to 25 or it has to be bigger than 25. Okay? Number 16, Ms. Donahue needs at least 4 cups of coffee each morning. This is true. Which one tells me bigger or smaller, Sheldon?
At least.
At least. At least. And what is this? What is the subject of this sentence? So think back to your parts of speech from English class. What is the subject of this sentence? Noah? Miss Donahue is the subject. The cups of coffee is describing that number 4. But the at least is saying, hey, Miss Donahue's the one that needs at least those 4 cups. All right? So I'm going to use M again for Miss Donahue. Okay, so M, at least. Nathan, what symbol do I need?
But a greater than.
Greater than? Could it be equal to 4? Yeah, so since it's at least 4, she'd be happy with 4, but she would also like more. That did rhyme. That was kind of fun. All right, so I get M is greater than or equal to 4. All right, so for number 17, it says write an inequality for the graph. And this, sorry, on the test, I'll try to make sure this is darker. Okay, so my inequality that is going to go with that. What am I going to, well, first let's just pick a letter. Liam, pick a letter. X. All right, and then what symbol am I going to use? Less than. We're not going to have the equal to bar because it's open. And if you'll notice, the less than symbol is pointing to the left. Guys, if you use your letter in front, can't you just pick the arrow? Okay. And then what number are we talking about?
4.
All right. Number 18, again, it says match the graph to the graph inequality. Where do you think those directions came from? The test. Instead of saying match, we need to write the correct inequality. All right. And again, you can kind of see where that one's darkened. On the test, it'll be a little bit more clear. In fact, I'm going to look over that when we finish to make sure. All right. Pick a letter, Sheldon.
N.
N. And then what symbol are we going to use?
Greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to because it's closed in. And then the number?
-2.
-2 because that's where my dot is. Are there any questions about 17 or 18?
That was the one I had a question on. And so coincidentally, I didn't know what I had to do with it, and I somehow just put 3 is greater than -2, but then I later put greater than or equal to, so I just did it unintentionally.
Good. And make sure that you have a letter here, not a number, okay? Make sure you have a letter there. All right, so you have to have an N? No, you could have used any letter. Sheldon just picked N, just like on the first one, Liam picked X. All right. Determine which number is a solution to the given inequality. What does that mean? What does that mean? I need to pick the numbers that do what?
That makes this
Finley?
That we match the letter.
The numbers that match the letter. So when you say match the letter, what does that mean?
Like, is equal and greater than, less than or equal to 25.
Yeah, so when I put them in for the letter, which ones would be less than or equal to 25? So this is where we would work each number out. All right, so we would start by saying 19 plus 5 is less than or equal to 25. What's 19 plus 5? 24. Is 24 less than or equal to 25?
Yes.
Yes, and then we would
Circle it.
And we would do that for each one. All right, which ones did we circle and which ones did we X out? Julia?
19 and 20, and we X'd out 21 and 22.
Okay, does anyone disagree? Okay. Does anyone want to see the work from those? All right, these seem to be something y'all did really well on the test, okay? All right, number 20, what did I circle? What did we X out? Kaya?
22 and 23 are circled, and 24 and 25 are X.
22 and 23 are circled, 24 and 25 X out. Do we agree? Yes, okay. All right, so on number 21, it says, what is the distance from the library to the school? I noticed that Miss, how did you say her name? Mrs. Zaya, I think that sounds right. Mrs. Zaya added this up here on 21 that the library, and this is my bad, I didn't realize I didn't have these lined up correctly. The library should have been at -1, -2. So that dot should have been here so that we could actually count them out. So ignore that one. All right, so now if I want to know how far is the library to the school, what did we get? Yes.
It's still in the positives.
Yes, -1 and +2.
It's -1 and +2.
Oh.
So now we can count those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's the distance going to be? 5 units. What if I went from the school to the library? It would still be 5 units. Would I put a negative even though I'm going backwards? No. Distance is always, always, always a positive number. Liam? Okay, yeah, so make sure for in the 6th grade, we can only go straight across or straight up and down. So that's why that dot was not good for the 6th grade. Okay, 7th and 8th grade, you'll learn how to do ones that are going at an angle. All right, but for right now, we're not. We are not ready for that yet. All right, number 2, what is the ordered pair for the location of home? What is my ordered pair for the location of home? Jennifer? 4 is my X and 5. So I'm going to put 4, 5, make sure it's in parentheses. All right, the last one, choose the correct symbol to make the statement true. When it says choose the correct symbol, again, those are the directions from the test. You should be able to just write the correct symbol. All right, what symbol do I need for number 23? Liam? The less than symbol. Remember, negative numbers are like opposites. The -1.9 is closer to 0, closer to the positive, so it's bigger. All right, number 24. What symbol should I use for that one, Kaya? Greater than. What do those bars do? They make it a positive number. Number 25. What should I use there, Sheldon?
Equal to.
Equal to. Remember, 0.5 is equal to a half, and 3/6 is equal to a half. That's why those two numbers are equal. Layla, last one? Equal to, because those bars make it a positive. Okay? Layla?
Is this test going to be on the computer or on paper?
It's going to be on paper. So we're going to use like a Scantron where you will bubble in your answers. Okay? All right, number 27. Simplify using the distributive property. What does the distributive property do? How do I use the distributive property? Nora?
You put an arrow from 7 to M, and an arrow to 7 to 2.
7 to M and 7 to 2. And what does that give me?
7M
7M
plus 14.
plus 14. So she multiplied 7 times M. We just write them next to each other. And then multiplied 7 times 2, which gives me 14. All right. Number 28. Simplify the following. What can I do to simplify this, Sheldon?
You have to add the 6x plus 2x.
6x plus 2x gives me
8x.
8x. Am I doing anything to the plus 5?
Yes, sir.
What are we doing?
You just put it plus 1.
Yeah, just put plus 5. Okay. All right, we cannot add those because 8 has an x and 5 does not. Okay. All right, last one. Evaluate if x is 3 and y is 12. Liam?
I did 7 times 3 minus 2 times 12.
Okay, pause there. Okay, so all he's done is he changed the letters to the numbers, and then when you work that out, what did you get? Mm-hmm. 23. Perfect job. Okay. Are there any questions about these problems? All right, guys, we'll get a second one on Monday that we're going to work out.